We began with 32 of the best players in StarCraft 2 from all over the world, from Korea, from the Americas, from all over Europe, and the only players that remain are two Swedes, Dignitas.NaNiwa in the bottom left as the red Protoss. In the bottom right, his opponent, mouz.ThorZaIN, also a Swede, as the blue Terran. We are tied in the grand final. It is match point 3-3. Whoever wins this game wins first place, wins the glory, and it couldn't be on a better map. Tal'Darim Altar, the largest map in this map pool, the game where we have seen the most epic macro games. It will be extremely unforgiving, and it will all be about who has the better preparation and the better focus under this pressure.
Yeah, this is going to be an insane match. Keep in mind the pressure on the players with all the viewers. I believe we've hit 65,000 viewers tuning in live for this. Shout out to all the communities joining us, especially IRC, which I have open on my second monitor, seeing everyone freak out when ThorZaIN held that last push. Just amazing to be part of. This is a feeling I have not felt in a long time. And you know, Dave, we have these caster notes, a document that Hotbit prepared for us. And it says, don't plug anything. This is game 7, baby. And that's exactly what I feel right now.
Dude, truer words never spoken, I will say. For any of you who did not know, I am Day9. That is Chill, the beautiful co-caster from Canada. And we have been fans of Brood War and StarCraft and competitive gaming for so many years. And in Game 7, sure, our job is to be the casters, but we are both fans of this game. And we are both ridiculously pumped up every time there's a commercial break. We both just freak out. We cannot believe that these players are this evenly matched. We've seen ThorZaIN play a solid style every single game, and it has been a question of, is NaNiwa going to play more stable? Is NaNiwa going to try to cheese to step around it? And it is all, again, going to come down to a final match.
So, Dave, lesson learned, don't give a shout out to IRC because they are getting spammed to hell right now. As we see the initial game going on, we've got SCV scouting around. Looks like a little bit of... Are you getting a little bit of lag here?
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of lag from you, Chill. It looks like your computer can hardly handle how much awesomeness is going on right now. And it looks like,
oh my god.
Trying to get into a lag-free environment. We're going to have to wait on a ruling from the refs to figure out what is going on. We need a pause, please, from both players. Looks like something is completely going nutty. Oh, Chill, if you had to get booted. Oh my gosh, Chill just disconnected from the channel. So we're going to see exactly what's going to be going on with Chill. And it looks like he has just come back. So hopefully, Chill, are you doing all right, man?
I'm doing all right. I think we've reached a stabilizing point. Not sure if I should get out or not. This is unfortunate. In Game 7, to say the least.
I can't believe that these two players, with their hearts pounding, trying to focus, trying to make sure they don't make any mistakes, suddenly the internets start to go out. But of course, it wouldn't be a tournament without any sort of huge glitch going on. It looks like both players are ready to go, and there we are, Chill.
Oh my god. Oh. I'm glad I can be part of this.
That is
Jesus.
True. We do now see, it looks like a one-gate expand coming up from NaNiwa. No second gas. And look at this ThorZaIN getting a very fast Reaper and already pulling everything out of gas to get an extra fast command center.
Yeah, so that command center going up very quickly with that Reaper, as you mentioned, going to be able to fly into the main base and see what is NaNiwa up to. He's got his one gateway finished with the Stalker, looking to clear any scouts out with that SCV just finally getting to the main base of NaNiwa. I believe the SCV of ThorZaIN going to be able to sneak in there. Yes, the Stalker moves northward to check for any hidden scouts, and the SCV just going to scoot right by. He's going to see that probe come out and should be able to infer that that is an expansion and should know that his command center is up very quick compared to NaNiwa's expansion. However, Dave, we have seen this situation on Shakur's Plateau, and NaNiwa brought it back very easily. Reaper now moving in. He can snipe the sentry. One Reaper does beat a sentry, trying to gun it down. Moving forward. Oh my god, he does get it. That is so huge.
And now ThorZaIN pulling back, trying to retreat out this north entrance if he can get away. Oh, he does not get away, but still, that is a very big play right there for ThorZaIN. Not only does that mean that NaNiwa is going to feel a little bit a little bit more uncomfortable with early pressure as he's going to be behind on force fields, but also that guarantees that ThorZaIN is much more comfortable on his defensive. No force fields to cut off that bunker. We see ThorZaIN's command center is now finished. A third gateway is en route. We see that, wow, that's a very, very fast stim before concussive shell, as a matter of fact.
Wow. Well, we'll have to see how he follows that up. Now, what I want to mention with the loss of that sentry, when you do this fast expansion, you always want one stalker, one zealot, one sentry, and that's that kind of composition that they hold hands and they block all sort of Terran aggression. Without that early sentry, that's going to make NaNiwa feel a little bit uncomfortable. However, he knows that the Reaper was sacrificed for that, so he probably doesn't feel like any sort of attack is coming up. However, he would love to have that extra sentry in his composition. We can see he's going back to his go-to bread and butter, and that's 2 Warp Gate into Robo. I would not be surprised in the slightest to see him go Observer and then drop that robotics base straight into Colossus. That's worked so well for him, and on a long rush distance like Tal'Darim Altar, it would probably serve him well to go into that, and there is that Robo Bay.
Excellent, excellent opening from both players, executing it very, very well. The one little advantage, of course, goes to ThorZaIN with that early sentry kill. Keep in mind, if you have one geyser while you're early expanding, that is an absolute fortune to lose. 100 gas early on. In the meantime, it looks like ThorZaIN doing his very traditional fast tech to these starports. He can do a little bit of damage. There's the engineering bay popping down. Perfect timing. Look at how low ThorZaIN's money is. Dropping down to exactly 0. Tremendous preparation going into this match for both players.
He's making a Hellion now, not going directly into starport, if I'm not mistaken, and that's a little bit surprising, getting the Hellion. I'm going to have to see if he just wants to do a little bit of scouting with this Hellion, but has not made the starport thus far. There it goes, a little bit later. Wants to get the Hellion out to scout the third, I have to imagine. Just with that quick Hellion, going to sneak into the third. And NaNiwa going directly to Colossus, directly to Extended Thermal Lance, sacrificing units, but it's going to pay off here. He's got the Observer in the main base, just out of range of the missile turret, so he can be well aware of any sort of move-outs that ThorZaIN is doing.
You have to be very careful for the exact push it looks like NaNiwa is preparing to do. You get 2 fast Colossi out. You saw the damage that NaNiwa was able to do with those 2 Colossi on Shakura's Plateau, but now on Tal'Darim Altar, you have your natural expansion to worry about. Those Colossi can hit the Expo from the low ground, and even if you retreat back, they can still run right up and do more damage. We even saw NaNiwa having 1 probe too many, killing it off to ensure that he has that constant Colossus production. He knows that that is the vital unit in this push.
Yeah, that's how well-timed he had to be. Now dropping 2 more gateways. Those are going to finish right about around the time that Extended Thermal Lance finishes, and that's going to be the timing for NaNiwa to move out and start putting the pressure on ThorZaIN. Probably not looking to kill him with this, but wants to get in, put a lot of pressure on him while he takes his third. ThorZaIN equal to the task, swapping out the reactor with the starport, getting 2 medevacs first critically. Hellion going to go in, see there is no third, going to see the Colossus. Let's see if he switches out. No, he's going to keep with the 2 medevacs, and then clearly going to switch into Vikings. He really wants to have those Vikings out to outrange those Colossi, even with the Extended Thermal Lance, or else he's just going to get punished. As we've seen before, you need to get those Vikings out.
Looks like ThorZaIN also getting a relatively fast Ghost Academy. Haven't seen him get it quite this fast in his previous matches, but he definitely needs to worry about any sort of defense that he can with these 2 Colossi moving out. The range is done right now. Does ThorZaIN have enough to be able to deal with this force? It's so hard to tell because of how much damage those Colossi do. And there they go, already beginning to nibble away at all of those SCVs, having to pull back right now. And ThorZaIN just calmly pulls back, doesn't overreact, waiting for those 2 ghosts to pop out and building a second starport. Looks like a little bit more lag popped out. Poor Chill having a little bit of the internet's issue, and wow, NaNiwa.
I have no idea what's going on. I apologize to everyone involved.
We're going to once again have to wait for an official judgment from the referees, but you can already tell. You can already tell NaNiwa having a little bit of pressure. So, hey, Chill ended up leaving the game. NaNiwa says, go, go, go. A solo cast, it may be. We do see now that the 2 Colossi are continuing to pick away at that refinery up on the high ground. ThorZaIN just calmly pulling everything back. His Ghost has now popped out. It has 54 energy. The Vikings have just emerged. We're really seeing how fragile it can be to opt for those 2 medevacs first. So much time was lost, but now that these Vikings have arrived, that is going to pretty much put an end to this kind of aggression. We see ThorZaIN having amazing positioning. Oh, a huge cluster of SCVs gets knocked out by those Colossi. We see NaNiwa in a great position. There's the scan from ThorZaIN. He sees how many units are there. He will likely not want to engage. NaNiwa continuing to slowly nibble away. 4 more pylons going down in NaNiwa's main. No more probes are being produced right now, just Colossi and gateway units. This is a huge push for Protoss. More Vikings trying to be produced, some good damage being dealt from ThorZaIN to those Colossi, but none have yet been killed. So we do see the Ghost moving forward, and gets a huge cluster of units. Great EMP. ThorZaIN may very well just push that from above, but we do see that NaNiwa is slowly getting a bigger and bigger food lead. If he can end up picking off those Colossi, that would be gigantically advantageous. But we see those Vikings still continuing to be produced 2 or 3 at a time. Nothing too noteworthy from either player other than this huge push. No expanding, no teching, both players devoting everything. ThorZaIN to the defense, NaNiwa to the offense. We see those medevacs continue to try to heal, and that's a little bit too close for NaNiwa. NaNiwa trying to be very careful with that Colossus control. And there we see, there's the advance forward. Another great EMP. And it looks like ThorZaIN is increasingly starting to get that gitchy. He's starting to get that feeling that it might be time to bust down the front door. Now keep in mind that if NaNiwa loses these Colossi, he'll be in an atrocious spot, and there's a Marine spotter outside the front. ThorZaIN sees it. NaNiwa might be going for the huge push, but does he have enough energy on those sentries? There's the Vikings doing some big damage. No Colossi has yet fallen. Still big energy on all of those sentries. Plenty of force field available, needs to Ghost EMP those off, but does he have the energy? Yes, he barely now has the energy. Here's the push forward, there's the scan, where are the Ghosts? And there's the EMP! Manages to get all of those sentries, 1 Colossus down. NaNiwa not in a great spot, 2 Colossi now have fallen, and it looks like ThorZaIN baited NaNiwa into just the right spot. The whole push from NaNiwa getting absolutely decimated. The push that was at the back door did not do the damage it needed to, and now ThorZaIN has equalized the playing field. The foods are matched 93 to 87, but ThorZaIN has the 1-1 upgrades, has the Ghosts, has the Vikings. NaNiwa trying to pull back. ThorZaIN may have done the unthinkable and pulled the reverse all kill, but NaNiwa is not done fighting yet, continuing to throw down force fields. But we see the ThorZaIN now pushing faster and faster forward. NaNiwa in a complete and total retreat, now trying to morph in more sentries, and NaNiwa having a collapse of focus. 2,000 minerals in the bank and not enough gateways to spend it. 6 gateways are down now. ThorZaIN pulling back, needs to devote some time to killing off the destructible rocks so he can take himself another expansion. NaNiwa still has so much money. 4 more gateways being produced right now, but no upgrades for those gateway units. No plus attack, no plus armor, no charge, and no blink. A gigantically tough position for the Protoss player to be in. We see ThorZaIN doing his classic sprint forward with the Marines, and even though ThorZaIN did that amazing push forward, keep in mind that he only has 3 barracks and he will soon be up against 10 gateway production. ThorZaIN has a very cute army that can function well in middleish to small numbers, but he does not have a big army. So this is going to be the real kicker for ThorZaIN, who still has not taken an expansion. NaNiwa, who seemed like he might be an inch from losing himself, has managed to get all those gateways up. We'll be morphing into warp gates soon enough, and NaNiwa still having the focus, knowing that the late game is what's going to be essential for him, is taking himself that 3rd base. So now we see ThorZaIN doing the exact same, and it looks like both players going to be opting for the later stages of the game. Now with those 10 warp gates done right now, we even see, oopsie daisies, NaNiwa chrono boosted his robotics facility that wasn't actually researching anything at that point in time. So a little bit of an uncharacteristic misclick there by NaNiwa. More units getting morphed in from NaNiwa. They're going to all be Zealots, but with absolutely no speed. The Marauders can do a good amount of kiting, but come to the unit counting station. 21 Zealots, 12 Stalkers, and just 18 Marauders, and just 14 Marines. Not a big army for ThorZaIN. He's going to have the best Ghost EMPs known to man if he wants to be able to do that kind of damage. But still only 3 barracks. Is he getting his usual 2-2? No armory anywhere yet. ThorZaIN knows how narrow of a position this is right now. We see NaNiwa beginning to advance forward, and ThorZaIN's army is not in a good spot. It is trapped down at the south area. This is going to be a very, very tense moment. ThorZaIN knows that he's trying to see if there's any way he can sneak back to his home to be able to join up with reinforcements. It will not be the case. 2 scans go down from ThorZaIN, and some great EMPs go down. He does get some Guardian shields off, but ThorZaIN knows that this push timing is essential, hides behind the remaining force fields. The Colossi getting one-shotted. He's trying to pick up the Colossi as rapidly as he can, but look at the gateway unit count from NaNiwa. Can ThorZaIN push it back? He does manage to repel this aggression, but does he have the unit lead? There are still so many gateway units on the map for NaNiwa. ThorZaIN just picking up the scraps as there is a retreat back to the base, and no, ThorZaIN is very dangerous in that spot at the bottom of the ramp. He could have gotten cut in half by any number of force fields and lost tremendous amounts of units. Still 3 barracks only for ThorZaIN. 3 barracks against the 10 gateways of NaNiwa. We see the mains are essentially mined out for both players. ThorZaIN having to transfer all those workers to his third. Look at the probe difference. 40 SCVs for ThorZaIN, 47 for NaNiwa. Neither player has a particularly high worker count. So it's still a very intense moment. There are finally 2 more barracks going down for ThorZaIN. Has not had a second of time to breathe. Both players playing under absolutely tremendous pressure. We have just passed the 20-minute mark again. We've seen that in the longer games, NaNiwa tends to have the advantage, but we see no Twilight Council. We see no forges. We see no tech to anything but these basic gateway units and the Colossus. Both players having essentially big mid-game armies, but because we see ThorZaIN does have the ghost tech and does have some Vikings out, he's able to deal with this slightly better. And oh, look at this. Here's a funny little fact. Only just now researching concussive shell, ThorZaIN waited till the 21-minute mark to find 50 extra minerals and 50 extra gas with which to research that concussive shell. We do see ThorZaIN now does have his third base up and operational, muling it as rapidly as he can. NaNiwa still getting more sentries, still getting more zealots, but note, once again, no Twilight Council. Oh my goodness, here comes a huge push from NaNiwa, and once again, ThorZaIN having the seeming anti-timing, cutting off a lot of his units at the south side, and oh no, you do not want to see that army trade going on right now. ThorZaIN has managed to swing his army around to take out this third base. NaNiwa does not want to take the risk. He's pulling back. NaNiwa has lost his expansion. NaNiwa's expo. Some of those mineral patches only have 40 minerals remaining. NaNiwa must do amazing amounts of damage with this force, but he needs to spread out those sentries. The ghost EMPing from ThorZaIN has always been too good all game long. We see more units from ThorZaIN managing to sneak their way around that south end by the watchtower and rejoin with the army. Here's the ghost advancing forward. Gets a good EMP off, but not nearly as many sentries as in the previous ones. And now we see those Colossi trying to poach forward to the front, trying to pick off those ghosts. This is so intense at this moment. And there the ghosts moving forward, managed to EMP again, but only 100 energy. They will pick off with those EMPs. There's still a lot of force fields available. The Viking count is ridiculously high from ThorZaIN, and I'm having heart palpitations. I do not know how much longer I can handle this. This is so tense. NaNiwa now moving forward with the Zealot, trying to get a good sense of what's up, but ThorZaIN not overreacting, just the single lone stim. We see more ghosts advancing from the right side, does not quite have enough energy, and NaNiwa just patiently waiting for all the shields to reheal. The Colossus now finishing a lone marine in the natural expansion of NaNiwa. NaNiwa has no more money left at that expo. Everything's basically broke. It will all come down to this final fight. There's the advancement forward. We see no EMPs yet. There's some EMPs about to get cast. A big one on all of those sentries. The Viking count ridiculously high, but the gateway units are just overwhelming ThorZaIN's units, and it looks like the Viking count is going to be enough. It picks off the Colossus. ThorZaIN makes the surround, and good game! ThorZaIN does it! The incredible reverse comeback, down 1-3, pulling it back 4-3. Incredible play by ThorZaIN, who had the hardest path through this tournament. Knocking out Fruit Dealer, knocking out Tyler, knocking out OGSMC, knocking out Empire Koss, and in the grand final, he manages to defeat the man who was 35-0 in his best of anything. Incredible play by ThorZaIN, making a mark in StarCraft 2 that we will never forget.
That was unbelievable. I I do not envy your position in that game, Day 9. I was sitting from the observer slot, and it was fantastic. ThorZaIN coming back, completing the Cinderella story to the T, going all the way as the underdog every time, going down 1-3, and then reversing the sweep. Unbelievable play by him, and he's still so handsome.
I cannot believe that amazing calm, that amazing focus against the 4 warp gate in match point, holds it off. Up against a 6 warp gate all in, barely holds it off. In that final game, having Colossi barreling down his back door all game long, and he defends and pulls the miracle with amazing EMPs, with remarkable unit composition, and an uncanny calm. So let's go take an interview with that winner of the Team Liquid Star League, mouz.ThorZaIN.